Ulia. So, as teachers, of course, we would like our students to learn something. What grammar would you like to focus on? What lexical units do students need? And how to create a need to know? After this discussion, we can decide that, let's imagine that it can be several, according to your answers, there can be several options, right? And I didn't plan them before. Maybe I had something in mind, but according to your answer, there can be advice for people who visit your city, right? How to places of interest. Advice for people, again, who visit your city for interest in cafes. Top 10 places, good. Okay, there are lots of picturesque parks. So interesting things to watch and tasty things to eat in your own city, right? It can be one type of a project. So it can be like, if we talk about internet, so there can be a blog, comment, or maybe video blog. Why not? Yeah, that will be like follow up. Before they, of course, need to write the script of this video. Next is just for those who traveled, who are looking for interesting places, you can describe one place you visited, like advice for other tourists who also would like to visit this. Okay, so this will be our product. For this product, what information we need? What knowledge we need, sorry. Dialogue with questions, how to get some places. Yeah, good. So it can be like, yeah, find out or look at my city with the eyes of a foreigner. One of us will be foreigner, another will be native person, and it will be like dialogue, asking what and where. Yeah, so it's like a story. Stories are always interesting. Good. So you see, we have lots of things, and if it was the lesson, I would write some ideas for students to choose among the project. Okay, what grammar would you like to focus on? What lexical units do students need? Usually, and how to create a need to know. Usually, as the teacher, as like we teachers, we have a great helping hand. It's our textbook which planned this step-by-step knowledge, so you can have a look what grammar was in this unit, right? And we don't study this grammar before we start the project. It's also the part of the learning project. How to create a need to know. The extreme step for those who would like risks. The first thing would be, okay, so we have some projects like a guide for a native city where top 10 interesting places. Can you please write the beginning of this guide or describe one your most favorite place? So you just give them not the whole task, a part of this task, but it's not compulsory step. You can use it or not if you think it more for demotivating your students. You don't do it. If your students are brave enough to write, you can do that. And then you can compare their descriptions with the examples in the book and ask them, look, which is interesting, which is not interesting? What makes you think so? So, for example, in my guide, I wrote about not usual things, about things that are interesting for people of my age. But in this guide, it's general things that you can find everywhere can be the answer, right? Can you feel the atmosphere of each place? You can ask your students to exchange their writings and discuss it. Okay, I'm reading about your place. I don't really understand what is it, right? And then we as teachers, we focus their attention to this city guide and have a look. Like, can you imagine? What makes you think so? There are some adjectives. Yeah, beautiful, loud, different, something else. There are lots of prizes, beautiful flowers, fantastic museums. What would you visit? A museum or a fantastic museum, right? So we show this to the students. We discuss, we work with the texts. We create a need to know new language, right? Then I can ask my students, swapping works well. Yeah, that's true. And we can ask students, okay, can you see any recommendations? Would you include recommendations in your work? Yes or no? Yeah. How can you do that? Let's find examples in the text. You might spend a day walking around. So we work with this text from the perspective of editor, right? We can ask students to suggest some improvements. And also by this conversation, so you can, of course, you don't just talk. It's better to ask your students use their pens, highlighters, maybe underline things, underline all adjectives. How many? Maybe too many adjectives, not all, it doesn't also work. Where can you find advice? So they work with the text. You can ask different groups, analyze different guides. And of course, comparison is a great thing. When they have their own, and then they see how it can be done better. If you work with more proficient students, and even not with like proficient, but with all students, you also can look for real blogs. You have lots of them on the internet where you can write, find some interesting comments from real people and show it to students. For you, for teachers, I found this Barcelona recommendations for bars and restaurants. So if you are going to Barcelona, here is some recommendations for adults. Of course, for students, we would choose something something different. So be careful about because it can be something like that. So for teachers, it's okay, but for students, of course, maybe not so provocative topic. And here we can analyze. So let's have a look. Do they use, this is a book. It may not be real. So, but here, do they use some adjectives? Yeah, similar, worthy celebration, not really adjectives, but some descriptions, right? Really enjoyed it. Okay. Cool, with good vibes, right? So this is how it would be a bonus. So it's more proficient language anyway. They can see that actually that is what people do. After that, we go back to our book. Here we have, as you told, we have different grammar that we need to focus. Firstly, might, should. We use might to talk about possibility. We should to ask for and give advice. Yeah, this is what usually we use. And order of adjectives. Place can be great, place can be big. So how can we write? Amazing and big. Yeah? This is an amazing big park in the center of my city. Or is this big amazing park in the center of my city, right? It can be actually even the task for the student. So I have two sentences. Please study this rule and understand which sentence is correct. And what is my point? In the project, it should be some exploration and cooperation. So the great thing would be to give different rules to different groups. Their task will be to explore one topic, find examples in the texts, find the rules, write their own examples, and practice maybe how to explain this rule to other students. They work together. You can give them up to 15 minutes, not so much time. these rules are not very difficult. So they need to prepare something or some pictures places. Great. Good. Okay. So 3 groups are working on their own things. They use, they also can use these rules to make their first drafts better, or they can find example in the book or create their own examples. After that, you decide how you do that. If you understand how to like rearrange students and how to make them work, you can do it, or it can be in the form of the open class. In this point, it's of course collaboration is always better, but it can be done as all together, especially if it is the first time. So what they do, each group presents their topic and helps others to fill in the task. Here we have only one task for 2 exercises, but in workbook and in grammar book for this very text, there are much more exercises. So their task will be also to help others complete and check maybe the task from their grammar book. The same is with writing with order of adjectives. They have one more exercise for that, right? So this is what they do all together. They practice. As a teacher, you only observe it. You like help them. You push those who are sleeping, and but students teach each other, right? And that was new for them. After that, all together, so they know all 3 rules. So you create a guide for writing. Okay, people, let's imagine our group. So we are going to make this blog. We are going to make this video, but we need the script. And of course, we are going to share it with, we can post it on the site. We can post it on the social network. And it's important for this entry to be grammatically correct. Let's make a guide. What we need to focus on when writing city guides or blog entries. And they work together. They remembered what they studied, and they make this like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lists. Okay, so list number 1, adjectives. Adjectives make texts more interesting, right? Remember the order of adjectives. It can be step 2. Yeah. After that, use advice. You share your experience. Advice is important. How to use advice? Should, shouldn't, plus verb. So you do it here. You as a teacher, you only ask them questions. You manage this discussion, but your students give you answers, not you. It's not you who teaches, okay? Students, when you write, please remember about should, about orders of adjectives, so on. Some of them will remember, some of them no, and then you will correct those mistakes. So what if we just turn it, and it will be something new that they explored and that they studied, and this guide can be then saved, and you can collect guides for different pieces of writing, right? Why not? It can be their own book, which then they can proudly present to the, at the end of the year, they will present it to the future 5th or 6th grade. It can be their achievement that they will then transfer. So okay, kids, we were working all year, and we prepared a great guide for you. When you have writing tasks in your classes, you can use it. Ask your students for more examples to illustrate it, right? So it can be, again, like educational part of this project. So, guide how to write correctly will be the first product. And of course, second product is actually the guide or the video. You've got lots of information. I suggest you from all the ideas from your students, you choose 3, no more, and give your students a choice. So now decide which one would you like to join. After that, so we have a product. So one group can create a video, probably most of them, but for video, you need to write a script. Without a script, no video will be evaluated. Present and make it public. Now your ideas. We've discussed more, but in terms of your school, thinking about your lessons, thinking about your environment where you work and students who you work with, which is the working way to make project like that, a blog or a video, public? Will your students be interested to post it on YouTube? Will your students be interested to post it in some, okay, not Facebook, for them it's like not popular, TikTok or whatever. Will they want to write a comment on some site for travelers? Will it be interesting to give this guide to your management, like a suggestion? So as a class, we would like to visit Lviv, for example. We've chosen different things and write the guide. Please, dear director, dear master, can you read our suggestion and decide if you let us or don't let us visit this place and do things that we want? So which will be interesting? Students can create checklists for grammar and lexis. Yeah, Anna, great. It's important for the students do it, not the book, but the students. My students were careful about privacy and security when they use social sites. That's wonderful, Oksana. So what can be done? How to make it public? Would you invite maybe other students to join, to listen to the presentation? In your case, I know this, it sometimes happens, and it's great, actually. It's better than not to be careful. TikTok, sure. It can be even like educational video. Okay, hey guys, so you can like change the focus, and blog won't be your main product, but the tips can be your main product. And it's like, guys, in the lesson we were writing blogs and we all got 12 points. Do you know how? Here is a checklist for you. First, use the right order of adjectives, something like that, yeah? A brochure for travelers, yeah, Svetlana. And here is my point, that it should be make for public real. Like if it is a brochure, in what way? Who will be the reader? So your students really need to give it to the public. That is the important thing about project-based learning. So it can be brochure, maybe internet brochure, but where will you post it? I've got an essay of suggestions sent to heads mail. Yes, in Zoom. Good. Actually, what you can do, there are some groups on Facebook for teachers who are looking for teachers for different countries to communicate. Mystery Skype is from Microsoft. And what you can do, you can find there a teacher, schedule a teacher from the country which your students describe, or the city in Ukraine which your students describe. And it can be like, can you and your students join us, listen to our guide, and reflect on it. Say if it is useful for you, if it is true, if it is not true. So you are, as a real citizens, will you agree on this guide? Yeah? It can be done like that. It will be like collaboration, it's public. Or you can invite people from other to listen to this presentation and say, would you like to visit my town after this presentation? Some of my students have YouTube channels. Yeah, they may know or may want to do that. 5th, 6th grade, it's good for them. Maybe older students will be very selective on what they want to share, but for these kids, it's okay. Meeting, yeah. School site, good, yeah. Like ideas how to spend winter holidays. Yeah, so, and when you understand how to make it public, you will then make some, how to say it, adjustment, and you make your project work. So you see, my first idea was to make a blog or to make a video. After your answers, after your ideas, we found more interesting things, like give a presentation to a headmaster, have this Zoom meeting, put it on the site. And and it's always useful to think, if it is public, who will want you can even write down this. So if you want to make it public, who will want to read it or to watch it? What information can be interesting for my viewers? What my message is, right? And this make this work better. Stories on Instagram, yeah. Good ideas, yeah, it always works. It doesn't mean that you need to do it like every writing lesson, but several times a year would be great. And it can be their portfolio. They will be really proud of it. Poster, yeah, you can put this poster in the hall of your school, like 5 cities. So your class created 3 cities where which you can visit. Choose it or vote. Yeah, vote for the best city. So you really make it public. You can do it on your school level, on your maybe town level, or on the world level. So just to sum up, we have just discussed the plan how to make this. Well, I think it could be 1 lesson of discussion and homework writing, or writing on the next lesson. So 1 plus homework or 2 lessons for these ideas, for this project. First, drive questions. Have conversations, have brainstorming, write down everything. Create a need to know. Yeah. Ask your students do something and compare it with good model. Ask your students questions that will help them analyze the information. Explore. Here they need to explore something. In our case, they explore 3 topics in their groups, and they share it. Create something new. Guide to the writer. Yeah, they like, wow, now I can make a guide to the writer how to write good things in English. Product, actually the product. And you see, I even didn't put the answer, because while I was planning this webinar, I didn't know where our discussion will head us. That is what is unique about project-based learning. You can plan steps of what you want to give to your students, but you also take into account their ideas. Present, school meeting, class meeting, blog, make it public, right? Social networks, blogs, Zoom. We have even much more ideas that I wrote. If interesting to watch by parents, other students and teacher, yes, right. And it's always interesting to analyze, will it be interesting to do? And that is where we actually can do this correction work. So your students will, if they know that some like big people are going to watch their presentation, they need to be careful. Yeah, school website, good. And also it's let's see the difference. Like if it is for school website, first project, top 10 things about Lviv is one. And the second one, a place where you are going to spend your holidays, where you will definitely want to spend your holidays. It's even better. Which is better? The second one, because it like touches the reader, really touches the reader. It's not just my work, please evaluate it. No, I made my work to make my audience interested. So if they think about publicity, it should be something that others will need, like how it can be used in real world, or like suggestion for the headmaster why you need to allow us go in this. And there, by the way, in this suggestion will be used very often. So if it is website, again, think about this, how it can be really connected to real life when you put it on website and social network, how it can be interested. I repeat myself, but I really want you to hear me, because we get used that projects are something like poster, blog, website, anything. This is the final work, but in project-based learning, it should be really connected to the world, to the real world, and it should give some value. And our students, they are not stupid. They understand that if it's just my picture and some description, who will be interested in this? Maybe first time, yes, but for the second time. And but if it is that they create and it's really valuable, and others will get it, will need it, it will be great. Okay, we are going to finish, and I would like to invite you to my webinar from not from National Geographic Learning, but from Linguist Training Center, which is going to be this Wednesday. So it's like 2 days to go. Reading adventures in the primary classroom. We are going to discuss different things. It will be very limited with no more than 15 teachers. So you will be able to communicate with me, to ask me questions, to work with me. We are going to discuss how to develop phonemic listening, how to start teaching phonics, how to make students love reading. And I'm going to share my experience, how my students started to read books at the second term of the first grade. And actually, I'm going to share the link with you. Why not? Here you can. Here's the link, and you can join it right now. Why not? While I'm doing this presentation, the text was taken. The task was taken from Wonderful World, a great series that has everything teachers need: students' book, workbook, grammar book, lesson planner, video lessons from Linguist, ABC cards from Linguist, and everything online, even videos. Now they put all videos online. You have it, access to them with your lesson planner. Wonderful World has great learning grammar focus. So your students will see clear grammar, clear examples, and they will practice it in students' book, in workbook, in grammar book. There are all skills are developed. They are reading, writing, speaking, listening, and it's gradual. So step by step, by the end of the course, your students will have great level of English, and lots of teachers have proved that already. There are a lot of interesting information, Wonderful World. So you will understand why our world is wonderful. The tasks are clear. You have vocabulary presentation. After that, you have tasks that practice that vocabulary. You have text. Text includes and vocabulary and grammar of the lesson. So you always have this model in front of you. A lot of personalization tasks. If you want a Linguist site, you can have a look at this Wonderful World series. It has permission to be used from from grade 1 to 6. There are 6 levels, and I suggest you have a look at some of them because the book is a bit like full of information, and sometimes level 3 is quite difficult for the 3rd grade, but it's okay for the 5th grade. And actually in this permission, you don't have like level grade connection. So you can choose the level that suits your students. Level 3 is wonderful for 5th graders in the state school because it starts from the scratch and helps students take everything they had in the primary school and structure it. And creative task. I promised in the description that there's going to be a creative task for you. We have Wonderful World 6 sample pages. I'm going again to share. Just 1 second. Here I stop this. Now I play this. Okay. What you do? You can download materials from the site which you have now. There you find page 48, 49. Writing task. Here is a story and grammar revision of all past tenses. I think it can be used with the students of the 8th grade, maybe 7th. If you have strong students, then you decide. But for state program, it's about level grade 8. You follow these steps. You can take photos of these steps now. So you need to describe the procedure. How will you drive questions? How you will create a need to know? So you have chance to practice creating real project. You think about possible products. You think about how to make this product public. Then maybe you change. How to, what new things your students create. Will they create the guide like we discussed? Will they create story about some fairy tale about past tenses? How will they present their story? Maybe it won't be the real, like the story, but a play for the new year. It depends. So your task will be to describe all steps that you see now and send it to me, to my email, Diana Golovany, Linguist UA. I'm going to write it in the comments now because yeah, this is my mail, so you can email your description to me. I will read it. I will analyze it and give you feedback. What can be improved, or some ideas, or maybe, yeah, there is even some suggestions how you can make it better, not to improve, but just to make it even more, especially for making public. Maybe I will give you some links which I used with my students to make their works public. And we did it really. We posted some invitation for a Skype call to the book, to the class, so students make this, they prepared and make this presentation. So your steps, you follow the link. You also will get this link in the final email. You download students' book, look through these pages, describe the project, and send it to me. And I'm going to analyze it and send you feedback. So, and then if you decide to use this in your class with your students, I will be very pleased if you invite me maybe to join you on Zoom and just to watch it. Or just if you write to me the results, if this project was successful or no. Because as far as I know from teachers, today's teenagers are very hard to please, and it's always like a challenge how to make it interesting for the students. I hope that information was useful to you and it was clear, because there was lots of information and I have like I tried to structure it to make it clear. As a takeaway of this webinar, think of these questions. What are the important features of PBL compared to what you said to me? What other things are important? What is the role of a teacher? And what can students how can students present their results? You can write it to me right now in the comments, or just think about the things, just to make sure that this hour was really useful to you. As for the certificates, you're going to get your certificates in 3 to 5 working days. So in an hour, more or less, you will get the thank you email from this platform, Go My Webinar platform. There you will have the link to the form. You fill in the form with information. If you have holidays now, you can plan. Now it's only plan. So I'm going to give feedback on your plan. So if it is a holidays, it's you have time to plan this project. I will analyze it. I will write you feedback, and then you can, or if you want, you can do it with your students when they come back from holidays. If you think that you have distance learning, think how you can turn this project for distance learning. So you fill in the form. We collect all answers. Then we'll make this mailing with the certificates to you. They can make posters, of course. Yeah, they make posters are always great. It's just it should we need to understand how then they can use these posters to what they can do with the help of these posters. Not just to make it. The important feature, oh, it's interesting. You're starting to write your feedbacks. Let me read it. Important feature of PBL is interactivity with an ability to discuss the matter in future. Yeah, good. PBL is a real life situation and students and teachers create it and can work on it and solve it. The last, the page with the story. You will also get the link at the end with this thank you email. Ask me a question. If you have any questions, I will be happy to answer it. I always like questions. Discuss them. Yeah. Results in various ways, including presentations. And we need to plan it also, and your students need to know. Use all information now a lesson. That's wonderful. What's your favorite form of a project? I like to videos because they always work well with students. Also, with young learners, it's great to make some books. For example, once we made Encyclopedia of Mysterious Animals. That was a great project together with the first and third grade. First graders wrote mysterious animals. First graders, they draw, describe them, and third graders then analyze, and they decide where these mysterious animals could live. No, they interviewed first graders, asking where is it from, what does it eat, how does it communicate, something like that. First graders answered, and then those third graders create encyclopedias. They like mysterious imaginary animals who lived in the real world. Let's imagine it was like kind of imagination, and they created fact files about each this animal that first graders created, and they wrote. It was the map of real map of our world, and there was a red point like this animal is from Asia or from Africa, and what does it eat? And we print it, put it in, add it to our school library, so all students from the school could read these fact files. It's great, and for all the students, mostly often the video because. They are engaged in this, and it can be like describe your project in the form of the video, make a story, and then film it. Sometimes we did cooking projects. They had to like suggest ideas what they want to cook, and they wrote to me ingredients. Again, it was mostly with primary students. And with secondary students, it also was something about cooking. We yeah, we studied different food during this lesson. They had to present and yeah, they prepared food for the party. That was with secondary graders and primary schoolers. They just made lists to they made lists and then we give this list to principal, who then decides which food we can cook together, which is allowed. About assessment, webinar about assessment, we have YouTube channel on Linguist. There you can find this webinar, Assessment in the Primary Classroom. If you didn't find, please write to me. I'm going to, I will send you the link. So you see, in my descriptions, all the projects were real life. So we did something for some reason. We write lists to get permission. We make encyclopedias for others to read. We made invitations for people to join us on Skype. Thank you very much for your attention today. You were really active. Lots of questions, lots of participation. It engages me. If you decide to visit my webinar on Wednesday, I will be happy to meet you, to talk to you, not only in the form of chat, but in the real life communication, and you will be able to ask me any questions about reading in primary classroom. The date of the next webinar, so the one is on Wednesday, but it's from Training Center. That's why it's not free. You have to pay for it. For November, in the beginning of the month, we are going to send all of our events in November, and there you will know. And for November, we are planning something very interesting on our Facebook page. We are going to send you information on November. I'm not going to share it with you now, but it's something new which I haven't done before. And if you haven't, please join our Facebook page not to miss this interesting event. Thank you very much. Have a great rest from the school. Prepare for next step and take care. Now, that was a pleasure to meet you all today. So goodbye and see you very soon. Goodbye.